Thank you. Can you tell me? Had a natural last name again.
Shekhawat.
There we go. And Jin Hong. Both these gentlemen are from the Centre for Learning and Teaching at AUT. Jin's in charge of our media, and Raj is one of our academic advisors. So I'm interested to see how this workshop goes. So I'll leave it across to them.
Thank you, Lisa. Tena koto, tina tato katoa. Ko Govardhana tako Monga, ko Ganga tako Ava, ko Rajput tako Ivi, ko Shekhawat tako Pano, ko Mutua ko Korero, itenewa, Norera, etekayako, e akuhua mahi, tena koto, tina tato katoa. Greetings everyone, my name is Raj, and in today's session, Jin and myself, we will try and talk a little bit more about instructor-made videos. So over the past 2 days, we actually had two other workshops, which were focused around videos. So there might be a little bit of an overlap. So what we'll do is, to avoid that overlap, this workshop was planned in such a way that we could do a lot of hands-on things. So that's why it's really good that you all are sitting on, say, 4 tables. We will be doing a lot of a focused half an hour-ish kind of work, which will be about creating instructor-made videos specifically. So we'll do that, all right? So we move on to the next one, and let's start with your expectations. Very quickly, I would like to hear from you guys. What are you expecting out of this session? So, what are your expectations from this session, this workshop?
I'm just trying to see different apps to help them.
Different apps?
Learn something new.
Okay.
I expected it to be hands-on.
Hands-on, okay, great. Anything from that side?
Fun.
Fun? Sure. How about you guys?
Something I can share with the lecturers that they can pick up and use directly.
Fantastic applicability. How about this group here?
Something motivating for a student?
Motivating for students, yes. So I'm sorry to disappoint you here. I will not be talking about an app today. So, but rest of the factors we will try and incorporate. We will try and see how some of the information we are sharing here could be used by teachers, whether teaching polytechnics or universities. The focus is going to be on instructor-made videos, basically, yeah? So what we'll do is, this is what is the plan for the session today, roughly 30 minutes about instructor-made videos, background, best practice, and examples. Technical specifications is when Jin is going to be talking about some of the factors you need to keep in mind when you're shooting those videos. Delani beautifully covered some of those factors yesterday, but Jin is going to touch upon some of those things again today. And after that, we will straight away, for 40 minutes, we'll be actually creating some videos, and you'll be working as a team. So we've got 4 tables, 4 teams. So you have to work very closely with your group members, all right? And we will be creating those videos, we'll be coming back here, and we will be sharing those videos. Towards the end, we will also talk about going beyond this point. If we could create a community where we could stay in touch, and somehow, you know, if someone needs some support, that could be offered as well. So this is a tentative plan for the workshop today. And so I like my sessions to be a little bit fun, as you mentioned. So let's do that fun part. And for that, if you can go to the next slide. You need to be talking to the person sitting next to you. You don't have a lot of time, just 1 quick minute. You tell about your name, position, institute you belong to, then you talk about 3 words. Describe yourself in 3 words, and something unique about yourself. So time starts now. Get talking. So if there are 3 people here, please. Okay, let's just get back. I know this part, we can actually go on and on and on. And I also see some of you are talking even right now. And that can happen constantly. So I have to abrupt you guys. So sorry, because I'm very careful about the time. So I hope you had enough time to sort of very quickly get a slice of your people you're working with and know a little bit more about them. Is there anyone over here from this table who would like to share something? So from this table, there's this person who's almost like a rock star. He used to sing for many years in rock bands and things like that. We have someone who's really interested into photography. We have someone who's really bringing a lot of humor in his work and things like that. So these are generic things, belongs to some of these three handsome looking men here. Is there anything you want to share from your table? You don't have to specify the person, but some of the interesting things.
Someone has an e-scooter.
Okay.
So watch out when you walk in this direction.
Someone was sort of half a magician, but they're still a one-piece instead. Is with it.
Oh, interesting. Anything else? Move on to the table. What was the fun stuff? No fun, all serious stuff. Any interesting, unique thing about the people you're sitting there?
They will sell blood donut.
Oh, that's really good. Good, very good. I donated blood too, which was very nice. What else? Okay, you'll get to know a little bit more about yourself very soon. Let's move on to this table here. They were looking quite engaged. Anything interesting about people in this group?
They're probably from different countries, like
Very nice.
all of us.
Very nice. Interesting. Anything else you want to quickly share, Amanda, or one of you? Yes, Lisa?
We have a dog lover.
Dog lover.
And a cat lover.
Cat lover. Oh, animals are favorite. I do have a 2.5 years old dog which I adopted from SPC, and if I start talking about him now, I will just be talking about him for another hour and a half. So let me just stop right here. Okay, great. So now that you guys get to know a little bit more about each other, let's just move on to other things. My background is I'm a clinical audiologist by training, and I have done a lot of research around this condition called tinnitus, which is a constant annoying ringing, buzzing sound, with no external sound source. So you perceive it in your brain, And I'm still continuing my work in that direction. And one of the techniques which I use for tinnitus research is called brain stimulation. It's a non-invasive way to stimulate brain areas so that we can suppress that perception of the sound. And while working on this research, I realized over a period of time that, of course, human brain is one of the most fascinating organ, And if we are stimulating it in multiple ways, it's relatively easier for us to remember things. So it's like, if you present the same information from different modalities, then it's very likely that you'll be able to remember that thing easily than just getting an information from one modality. So to give you a very simple example, if we move on to the next slide, next one. Yep. If you move on to this slide here, I would request you all to try and read this as quickly as you can. Start. Once you're done, just raise your hands. Wow, 3, 4 people done. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, most of us. Good. Now, after reading this, let's forget about this. After reading this, what is your take? What is happening here? Is there anyone here who would like to share what's happening here? What is your interpretation of after reading this? What is this?
Confusion.
You're confused about this thing?
Sounds like it's a
clear?
confused situation.
Okay, so it's not very clear after reading what exactly is going on here. Is there anyone who can try and make a guess about maybe this thing is happening here? Anyone? Yes.
So some guy's found a pig on the road and he's trying to find who owns it, and the pig is oinking loudly as he's on the phone.
Yes. Perfect. Anyone else want to add on to that story a little bit more?
He wants his mate to help him.
His mates, so he's trying to get some help from his mates and they're trying to help him a little bit. Anything else you can add on to that?
Reminds me of a closed caption kind of transcript.
Yes, yes. Anything else? Okay, so this is our interpretation when we read something, right? Let's try and hear it now. Let's move on to the next slide and let's just pay attention to this sound.
Bobby, it's Keith. I was driving along Dundas Lane. There was a pig in the middle of the road. Anyone over there know anything about it?
No, mate. You're in a different valley. No one knows a thing.
No one. Yeah, you don't know anyone out that way who has pigs.
Lower Creek. No, I'm not too sure over there.
No, it's a wee one.
Guy just down the road from me that's got a couple of pigs.
So you got the picture?
Yeah, it's not mine.
You don't know anything about looking after pigs?
Not really. I just know they taste alright.
Any luck? I didn't know a thing.
I got your email about Sue, the pig. I could bring her back to you tomorrow or the next day? This afternoon? Okay, I'll see you then.
Okay, now, after hearing this version, how many of you think that it has added extra information, extra comprehension of your understanding to the things that you just read? How many of you feel that? Just raise your hand. Pretty much all of us, right? What is that extra information you know about that story now? What you just mentioned, almost you got there. On top of that, what is the extra information you've got now after listening to this?
There's multiple voices.
Yes,
It's
so
not
that-
just one conversation.
Yes, the multiple people trying to have conversation. This is something which we got to know. What else?
Maybe they're on a video call.
Yes, so there's a possibility there's some kind of video call or some message exchange happening based on what you've just heard, right? What else?
Sound effects, I think.
The sound effects, of course. Yes, Amanda?
I mean, I now recognise what it actually is.
Yes.
There's a real pig there.
Yes, so there's definitely a real pig here as well, right? So what we'll do is, how many of you have actually seen this already? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us have seen it. Others have not seen it. Let's just quickly still play to continue this one. If you can just go to the next one. The one with the caption, if you go. The next one. Yeah, with the caption. And if you can start the captions as well.
Bobby, it's Keith. I was driving along Dundas Lane. There was a pig in the middle of the road. Anyone over there know anything about it?
No, mate. You're in a different valley. No one knows a thing.
No one. Yeah, you don't know anyone out that way who has pigs.
Lower Creek. No, I'm not too sure over there.
No, it's a wee one.
Guy just down the road from me that's got a couple of pigs.
So you got the picture?
Yeah, it's not mine.
You don't know anything about looking after pigs?
Not really. I just know they taste alright.
Any luck? I didn't know a thing.
I got your email about Sue, the pig. I could bring her back to you tomorrow or the next day? This afternoon? Okay, I'll see you then.
So now, those of you who have not seen this ad before, do you think after watching this with subtitles, does it help a little bit more about getting better clarity of what exactly is happening? Yes? Yes? Did you notice when the guy looks at free range pork, you know, and then when he looks at the pig, and it just triggers a lot of emotions, isn't it? Yeah? So the point which I'm trying to convey here is, when we present the same information from multiple modalities, it has way more impact, than just presenting information from one modality. And videos are excellent sources in which we can engage people, and we could also facilitate better understanding of concepts, conceptual information, which otherwise can be difficult to explain when they are encountering it for the very first time. If that is presented in a slightly different, interesting way, that can go way longer. Right? That's just a little thought. Go on to the next one, please. Next one. Yes. So there's not much of a research happening in the area of instructor-made videos. By the way, how many of you heard this term called instructor-made videos before? Raise your hand. Just few of us, right? Now, those of us here who haven't heard this term before, when you hear this term instructor-made video, logically, what's the first thing which comes to your mind?
Talking about the PowerPoint.
Talking about the PowerPoint, that's not which comes to your mind. Yeah, talking head about a PowerPoint, is it? Okay,
Sorry.
what else comes to your mind? Instructor-made video.
They're made to instruct somebody in something.
Yeah, as simple as that, right? They are the videos which are basically made by the instructor to explain something, right? And in the past few years, the research is picking up in this area, and it shows that more and more students these days are engaging with a lot of audio-visual content than way before. Like, I've got 2 daughters, and they are 5 and 7, and already they are engaged in so much of information, getting information in the form of videos. Compared to when I was a student, I finished my master's and I don't remember watching any videos basically, And now everybody is glued to their phone, So these net channels they're really into some of these things. So it's important to try and see if we can integrate that thing in teaching and learning as well. Of course, there's a little bit of research which also shows that they also help in scaffolding the difficult concepts, And they can be way more engaging. Like, for example, I can give you an example of a course where I was involved, and before using the videos and after using the videos, how much of an impact it had. Which initially I thought that it's a big deal. I'm anyways talking in the class, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm just making a little video about it, and how much more impact it can have. But to my surprise, students wrote amazing things. One of the things which struck with me was a lot of students told me that before even meeting me in person and before even seeing me for the first time in the class, they felt that they sort of knew me because they have seen some of my videos which I put for them, And I think that's why it's extremely important for us to put ourselves out there. If we are the one who are teaching something, and we think that, well, why do I have to feature in the video, Why can't I just use a slide and then just speak because I'm giving the same information, right? But I think when students see us, and we don't have to be perfect, we don't have to them getting this sense that, this person looks like a regular person, and when you talk, the way you talk, they just get it in a certain way, they connect with you. And if that can happen before they even see you, I think it's a big win. They engage in the class way more. And of course, this also gives you opportunity to use your class time in a different way. So I'm also working with a colleague of mine whose course has sort of become almost fully online now. And I think the discussion I had with her was also the same. That, imagine if we are online students, right? There's a little bit of a stress that, oh my God, everything is going to be online. I have to go and access this site and go through the content and PowerPoint and whatnot. But the person who's actually teaching you, wouldn't you want to know a little bit more about them? So even if we have like a little, and sometimes what people do is they put a photo and then they write a few lines about themselves. That, oh, I'm a senior lecturer working in C flat, and I'm also doing audiology research. That's one thing. But exactly the same thing if I say in a video, and then that will have a completely different impact, They will see how am I speaking, how do I look, and if you have a sense of humor or any other thing, it just reflects through, and which really facilitates that connection with the students. So I think it's extremely important to integrate some of these things in our teaching and learning. Go on to the next one. Now, coming to the best practice about instructor-made videos. So one important thing I must highlight here is there is an impact of signature pedagogy, which means based on your discipline you belong to, some of these things may vary, they may not be applicable, but most of the things are applicable irrespective of the discipline. For example, duration. Now, most of these instructor-made videos, they should be under 5 minutes, and certainly not more than 10 to 12 minutes. Because, of course, the attention drops significantly after sitting in a lecture after 15 minutes anyways. So you don't want to create really long videos. But I do understand that it also depends on discipline. Certain disciplines may have certain topic or certain content which they want to explain, or concept they want to explain, which cannot be explained in 5 minutes. Of course, in that situation, you could go a little bit longer, but on an average, under 5 minutes is good. Another important thing is focus. Instructor-made videos, they need to be absolutely focused on a thing. It could be focused on the assignment. So for example, if you're using a new kind of an assignment in your course, you could make a video which explains what exactly that assignment is, what is your expectation from the students about that assignment, and what they can do to do really well in that particular assignment. And then you capture that thing in a video so that students can watch it as many times as they want. Imagine if I had to come here and give a very important piece of information verbally and just walk off, or put that thing in writing. Third option, say the same information in a form of a video and then leave it to the students. They can watch it as many times as they want. They can fast forward it, they can pause it, they can revisit it. That has completely different impact on it altogether. Third thing is alignment. That's very, very important thing to keep in mind. You just can't randomly create instructor-made videos. That, okay, I just feel like making one video, let me just make a video. Or you just walk in a class and hang on a second, this could be captured in a video, let's just make a video about it. It shouldn't be done that way. You need to have a very clear understanding about why you are making this video, what's the focus of that video, and how exactly you'll be making that video. But having said that, these things are not as complicated as they may sound, because obviously we all are busy professionals. We have so much on our plates already. You don't want to be spending like extra 10, 15, 20 hours just thinking about this, So some of these things, they don't take as much of a time, to be honest. Planning can be very, very quick. So as long as it's planned about how exactly you'll be shooting it, for example, will it be just you talking, or you can involve an extra person? That person, you could do a role play if you want to. One could be a student, one could be a teacher. You can have a sort of a conversation. You don't necessarily have to write down all your dialogues, but as long as you know how exactly you'll be navigating through it, then it's good. I would like to actually show you an example, basically. So if you could move on to the next one. Next one. Yes, could you just play that then?
You had some questions about your second assignment?
Yes, I do. Second assignment is about writing the blog. Now, personally, I'm not a blogger. I've never written any blog in my life, but so I just don't really see a point of why do we need to write a blog for a placement project.
Now, Dennis, it's absolutely okay that you have not written blogs before. There'll be many students who have not written blogs before, so that's absolutely fine, okay? I don't expect my students to be professional blogger anyways. But tell me one thing, do you often think about things when they happen in general in life?
Yes, I do. I mean, sometimes I do think about, in terms of basketball, sometimes I tend to think about how I play for my games.
Do you think about that, oh, I've done this error, so I'll try not to do it, or I've learned this thing from this game and I'll try and incorporate that? Do you happen to have these questions in your mind a few times?
All the time, because I mean, that's what makes you a better player.
Exactly. Right? What you just mentioned, that thinking about things makes you a better player. Exactly the same way, the purpose of writing a blog is to think about an instance which has happened and think through it in detail, following the guidelines which we have given you, so that you can become a better professional.
Right. So, but then how do I write a blog?
So we have given you a detailed guideline on the course book about how you should be writing a blog. But to make it even more simpler, I just developed this acronym, which is IRLR. So you need to remember these 4 letters.
IRLR.
Precisely. To make it even more simpler, it's like I, Raj, love reading.
Right, okay.
So what these 4 components stand for is, the first one, I, is the instance. any thought-provoking instance which you have observed or any story which has touched you while you were at the placement journey, you need to describe it very briefly as the first component. Okay? Once you have done that, the second very important component is relevance. So how is that relevant to your organization and to you? So you need to describe that in detail. Once you have done that relevance, then you need to come on the third very important component, which is learning. So what have you learned from this whole story? And finally, the most important component is the resources. So what else you could do to improve yourself on that particular skill is what you need to describe in the resource towards the end.
I see. So just making sure I am on the right track. I'll try to repeat myself.
Absolutely.
What you just said. So firstly, I need to describe an issue, an incident that has happened during my placement.
Exactly. Anything thought-provoking which has captured your attention, which you observed, which you found interesting, you need to describe that.
Cool. After that, I will then need to make relevance of the incidents to either myself or the placement.
Exactly.
Or the organization.
To both.
To both.
So you need to talk about how exactly that instance is relevant to the organization and to you personally as well.
So I need to describe it in a way to both.
Exactly.
Okay, then the next one is learning, and I have also need to describe and discuss what have I learned from this incident.
Exactly.
And lastly, I will also need to identify resources that can.
All right. So this example was focused on an assessment. So in this particular course, it was a core capstone paper where they were supposed to write a blog. And these were year 3 students, undergrad health science students. So often the first question used to be like, why the hell I need to write a blog? I mean, we are not bloggers, right? So why we have blog in the first place? Then how exactly do we write blog? And in the past, we have tried putting this information in text. But then in spite of that, students will come again and again and again. We'll spend so much time either meeting them face to face or even in the class and just go over it again and again and again. So what we decided was, okay, hang on a second, let's just make a quick video. So the other person, Dennis, he was also a teaching fellow. What we decided was, okay, what we do is, one person becomes a student, another person can become a teacher. You go through, you ask me some of those questions, and I'm going to try and answer some of those questions, and then you try and repeat your version of your understanding. So we are presenting the same information, but two folds, One, a teacher telling this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you're supposed to do it, and another student saying, okay, this is what I understood based on what you're telling me. So is this? So this is what you saw in this video, and we created a series of those videos for different aspects and stuff. So after using some of these, we realized that a lot of these students, they were way more clear about what is the expectation, what exactly they're supposed to do, and why they're supposed to do. So this is an example of an instructor-made video. It doesn't have, this one is focused on an assessment. It could be focused on a concept. For example, if you are an English teacher, or if you're a maths teacher, or if you're a science teacher, and if you want to teach a particular thing in class, and if you know very clearly that if I want to explain this concept in the class, it will be very difficult for students to understand it in the first row. So I have to take time and I have to tell them, okay, go back home, read more about it. In that situation, that itself is a good indicator that it will be nice to make an instructor-made video about it. And when you're trying to make a video, try to simplify that concept and explain it in that 5 or 6 minutes time. And once you make that available to students, then they can go on their own pace. So it's almost like personalizes their learning. They could watch it as much as they want, they can revisit it, and every time they revisit, they may have a different, oh, this is what you meant basically. Okay, great. So, and the same uniform information is actually going to everyone. So these can be multiple benefits of instructor-made videos. We go to the next one. So now, what I'll do is, later now, the reason I'm rushing off quickly is, we really want you guys to actually shoot some of those things into here as a group. So what we'll do is, we will have now Jin, who will very quickly take you through about some of the basic things you need to keep in mind when you're shooting your video. All right? Over to you, Jin. You'll take us through some of these points.
All right. Okay, so who used smartphone to shoot videos? All right. Is it for home use or for instruction video? Right. Yeah. thought that you're expert, so yeah. Okay, so what, I mean, I'll just tell you very simple bullet points. I mean, most simple thing is actually sound. Actually, you know, all the smartphone now, the quality of the video is amazing, super. You can go HD, you can go 4K. My one can 4K. Even you shoot 4K, you can't play back. You know, you can't fix it. So most of it is sound, but okay, we are recording using that iPhone, big iPhone. But do you think there's a catch-up with sound? No. So obviously, what you need to do, you need to increase sound using apps like what you would learn apps. But if you don't catch high quality sound, when you go to post-production, it's very hard to increase the quality of the audio. It's impossible. Unless you go to see Peter Jackson, then you can do it for you. So, just very simple thing, many people make a mistake. When you do your smartphone, please shot on landscape mode, not portrait mode, right? So landscape mode is like this. If you portrait mode, you lose all the outside frame. So you, for example, if you're like shooting interview two people, you can't use portrait shot, you have to landscape. So if you go out and shooting from now on, please don't use any portrait mode. So you arrange a landscape, you know, horizontal. And then the other thing is, I know many people make a mistake. Please, when you're shooting, don't trust your hands. What? You can't. Unless you're a content director or you like shaking shot, that's fine. But if you're an interview using tripod, it's very cheap. This is only for $20. It included the lens as well. So using this one, very simple. Just click, just universal. You can use Android or iPhone, and even big iPhone you can use it. So make sure always, I mean, as you guys know, I mean, just steady shot, right? So if you do that, I'll show you one thing. Yeah. So this is landscape, right? And then it's not moving unless you bend your table. It's got really good steady shot. And then never hold your tripod and shooting unless you do maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds talking, okay? But if there's more than 1 minute, never use it. And then composition is very important. I saw some students who are lecturing, they're shooting and then bring video to us. Actually, the subject is very tiny and a bit wide angle shot. So you really can't see it. So I need to make sure if there's one person interview section and then just medium close-up shot or close-up. Because you're using smartphone, you're not using big, large format camera. So make sure just close-up or medium close-up. And then headroom, right? Some people leave headroom, too much headroom, right? So don't do that. Just make sure your headroom is always below this amount. So at the end of the frame, right? So make it more easier. And then lighting is critical. I know some people shooting, for example, here. My face dark if you're shooting like this, right? So what you need to do is that you're using light. For example, the light is coming through that window. So you're shooting, if I run into someone else, what I do, I'm using this light. So like this way. All right? So she's got very nice fill light. So even if you don't set up a professional lighting, you can get light. So never shoot like this. And then because the lighting is backlight, it's dark. So always make sure when you shoot, don't always make sure against the light. So don't go across like this. Already using light. Maybe light is coming this way. So if I can shoot this way, it's much better because bright light is coming through the window. It's just very simple. You don't have to learn rocket science. Unless you've got a lighting kit, but we have, but you guys don't have. So especially when you go art field, you don't have all the gears. When you use smartphone. Audio, that's the most important thing. So when you interview without any external microphone attached to your smartphone, make sure you're close to your subject. So for example, if the gentleman record, I'm gonna close. So as close as I can, right? Within frame. So I can catch a very clear sound in their conversation. If you go too far, of course you lose quality. People tolerate bad quality of pictures, but can't stand audio. If you can't hear it, you don't understand anyway. And then apps. There are lots of apps, right? And free apps you can download on your smartphone. You can edit. It can improve picture quality. If there's background noise, for example, if filming in dark environment and it's noisy, then you can use the app to increase quality of video, but never increase bad quality audio. So please remember that audio, if you screw up, you're never gonna fix that. So already audio is most important thing. And then there's edit and share video. I mean, there's lots of apps. You can download the apps and you can simply edit and you can share. You can share your friends on social media, Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. So those apps for now are free unless you buy professional version, which is expensive, and then you don't need. You just download free apps and you can do extend quality videos and audio, and then very simple editing and share with your friends and your colleagues while you stream. So I just briefly should very simple example and if you got any technical question, just ask me and I can email you back and then give you all the information. So because we don't have much time, so I'll just do this work.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Do you have a question?
I was at a source about the external mic with the lapel mic, right?
Yeah.
Like we want a quick picture with one of those.
You can.
Where do you get those from? Harvey Norman or?
No, Harvey Norman they don't sell. You can go to a professional camera shop, and there's called SoTEL, and the DVT. They're selling wireless microphone attached to your smartphone. Yeah, and then, but it's pretty expensive. You have to pay minimum like $700-800. Yeah. I don't recommend if you use smartphone with any connected microphone, you can use just wire microphone, and then which is you can go like 10-meter extension as well. It looks ugly, it looks professional, but you'll be right. But you're not gonna shoot in 10 meters far away anyway. So yeah. So yeah.
Delani, you want to make a quick comment on that?
Yeah, so the wide little mics you can actually get from Amazon. Pretty cheap. I got a couple, and if you put it inside, and if you don't have that clip-on little mic, you can actually use the earphone.
Yes.
And don't show it. Just put it through it in your clothes, and just put the mic in here. Works really well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's always good to have those hacks, isn't it?
Yeah, and just so let me show you. This one I ordered. You guys can have a look. This is only $29, include tripod, everything, and then include the lighting. You can attach to your smartphone, lighting, and then also Bluetooth remote control, so you can record by end. Yeah, and then also lens, so zoom lens and wide area lens. Right, so this is $29.
Where did you get it from, Jen?
Was it from Storm?
Yes, Storm. What name? It's not Amazon.
Yeah, it's a great name, South King.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Look at the important thing.
In case I bought, but I can't remember.
So a real store or online?
Your store.
Yes, store.
Yeah,
Which is good.
Well, empty you have account, so yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now, what we'll do is, do you all understand what instructor-made video is now? It's short, it's focused on a particular topic. It could be an assessment, it could be a content, it could be one of those things. It should be planned a little bit more. Instead of just randomly speaking anything on the camera, you need to. It requires a little bit of planning. So the video which you guys just saw, it required half an hour of planning between me and Dennis. We sat together and we didn't write the dialogues, but we were sure that okay, we'll start the conversation, then we'll move on to this assessment, then we'll move on to the various components of the assessment, and then we just tried it, and that was like second take, which was not too bad, right? So the exercise which we need to do now is we'll be working in 4 different groups. I know we have only 2 gentlemen sitting here, so if I could request one of them to go to this table and one of them to go to that table. So that way we have roughly like 4 to 5 people on each table. And what we'll do is, we've got 3 tables now, right? And we've got 2 tripods as well. And we could use that tripod as well, yes. So we will give you 1 tripod each as well. So initial 5-10 minutes, you think about what exactly you'll be shooting. So will you be talking about a hypothetical assessment, or a particular concept you'll be explaining, or something on those lines? And once you've charted out what exactly